Let's get into it. Squatters, man. Listen, I said on my main channel, I was like, you know what's going to change the squatting laws is if one of these really upscale, big houses, rich people area, if one of those areas gets some squatters in it, the cops will come, they'll remove the people, this, that. I thought I knew exactly what I was talking about. I had no idea, because these squatters actually did just that. They took over a house that is near LeBron James's dream home that's under construction. These guys are squatting in a house that is in the same neighborhood that LeBron James lives in. This is crazy. Leave it to California to make me just feel like I don't know up from down. It's the perfect place for this. Listen to this video. I'm going to show you another one after that. And then I'm going to show you one of a man who's actually doing something about it. And I think we figured out that Florida might be the best place to live in regards to these laws. Let's get into it.
Hard to believe that this trash-strewn home is in exclusive Beverly Hills. The pool looks like toxic soup. The mansion has been seized by alleged squatters, and it's perhaps the most expensive property in the squatting epidemic afflicting America. Fran Solomon owns the house next door.
The parties continued night after night after night, and they weren't the kind of parties that ended at 12. They were the kind of parties that started at 1 a.m. in the morning, went through the morning hours till 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
The mansion is just across the street from where LeBron James's dream home is under construction, and the basketball great is reportedly concerned over the damage to the neighborhood. The alleged squatter says he has every right to be here, and he showed me a lease which he says proves it. But the agent selling this multi-million-dollar estate says that lease is a fake.
People have been arrested up there for drug abuse and for nuisance, for loud noise. The police have been up there at least 150 times.
I got exclusive access to the mansion. It's unclear how many alleged squatters are living here, but one of them is a 34-year-old actor from Italy, Morgan Gargiulo. The place is a mess, and Gargiulo admits he and his friends turned the house into party central. One all-night bash drew 645 revelers and didn't end until 9 a.m.
Was this turned into a nightclub, essentially?
Better than that. It's a mansion. You know, I mean, it was classier than that, I would say. I had like.
But this was basically a party house, no?
At some point, yeah.
Here's what the house looked like inside when it was listed at $4.5 million, lavishly furnished and picture perfect. Now sheets are hanging up instead of fancy curtains. Gargiulo promises there won't be any more parties, but anyone with a vacant Beverly Hills mansion might want to watch out.
Are you planning on staying? Are you planning on moving?
I'm planning on staying for a while, but I will be moving to a much better place.
Yeah, maybe a place that's actually yours? What? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. You know, and listen, I can't just point at California. This is where it's happening, but New York, Michigan, there's so many different places that you wouldn't think had these type of laws that protect these squatters, but they do. It's so crazy to see. They took over a mansion that's worth $4.5 million. Do you know how crazy that is? I'm stunned. Can I do it? Can I do it? Who's coming with me? Can we all just go? We're just going to pick a house. We're just going to pick one. We'll just get a really big house and we'll just be like, oh, this is ours now. And the police will come by and just wave. And we'll just show pieces of paper and say it's legal. Like, is that how it works? How does the world work? You know, California, and I know I can't just point at California, I just said that, but I am going to point at California for a second. It's like Gotham City. And it's perfect, right down to Gavin Newsom himself. He looks like a politician that would be in Gotham City. 100%. He looks like that type of person. It's so wild. And then the nerve of that guy. This guy. Oh, I think I'm gonna stay here for a while. Then I'm gonna move to a better place. What are you talking about? for sure just doing coke. Just so much. For sure, this guy. But it doesn't stop here, guys. Guys, it does not stop here. I got another one for you, okay? You thought that was bad, right? It's just a mansion. Okay. Well, how about this one? This guy actually, let's go up here so you can actually read the story. Squatter has been granted a restraining order against the landlord by Washington state judge. If you live in a state where squatters have more rights than property owners, maybe it's time to leave. This squatter refused to pay rent for over a year, costing the landlord $80,000. Wow. First of all, how much is rent? That's kind of wild. But second of all, he actually got a restraining order. Am I living wrong? Is that what it is, guys? Am I living wrong? Because I'm paying rent. Do I just stop? Is that how it works? What? I can never understand the mentality. Like, how do you even have enough nerve to do something like this? Where they're just like, okay, the rent's due, and you're like, no, not this time. They're like, huh? And you just hang up. You just lock the door. Okay. How do you have the nerve to do this? Wow. This is incredible. Watch this. And what's great about this video is that the neighborhood actually got together and they're protesting this guy. They want this guy out. Hopefully this actually helps the laws in some way, shape, or form, but they're literally protesting outside this guy's house. And if he leaves, I guess they'll band together and keep him out of it. I don't know. Let's see.
I'm in Bellevue right now in the Woodbridge neighborhood. There are dozens of protesters getting ready for a massive rally. This is the house here right now where Sang Kim is staying, allegedly not paying the rent for months now, costing the small mom and pop landlord thousands of dollars. This neighborhood is absolutely irate here right now. Look at this. You've got folks here taking photos of saying, hey, how you doing? Look at this. They're getting really personal here right now. Signs that say Sang Kim leave now. Dirty Sang Kim. Fix broken system. Saying stop embarrassing your family. Incredible turnout here. Look at this. You've got every street corner here. Just angry neighbors here to support Jaskaran Singh. He's the landlord who's essentially being fleeced right now. And we're gonna go into this house, possibly, to see if Mr. Kim is home. Let's see this.
If you do not leave, I'll call the police for the trespassing.
Mr. Kim, just want your side of the story. What are your thoughts on the protesters? Aren't you the one technically trespassing? There you have it.
Yeah.
He came to the door. Came to the door and says he's going to call the police on me for trespassing.
Open the door now.
I mean, you've got angry neighbors here. Looks like people are resorting to vigilante justice potentially at this point. I mean, you've got a lot of angry neighbors, so the rally's going to start any minute now, but you can see people from all over Bellevue, all across the east side here. Just,
you know, it is beautiful that the community got together and they all want this guy out, because a lot of communities will just kind of sit back and whatever happens, happens, you know? But they're actually getting together and they want this guy gone. It's amazing that guy's like, I'll call the police. And guess what? He's right. Because he did that to the landlord. He said, let me get a restraining order. They granted him the restraining order. I don't understand how. This is one thing I can't wrap my head around how this works or how it got to this point. I guess it's so landlords can't just be like, get out and just throw people on the street. But this is just too far. Isn't it? Or maybe I'm just really insensitive. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just super insensitive. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm paying rent every month, you know? Like, I don't know. This seems so crazy to me. But, and honestly, I don't know which is worse. I don't know if That guy makes me laugh. I don't know if he's worse or if this situation's worse. Is it San Kim or is it whatever this guy's name? Morgan? What was his name? Morgan Prosciutto? I don't know if Morgan Prosciutto is worse or if it's San Kim. It's actually it's ridiculous. And let me just say something because I'm going to go on to the last clip here. But I want to see Trump as president, right? Everybody knows my biases, make videos about it all the time. I say it all the time. But this guy is doing a damn good job. I'll tell you what, man. He's doing a good job when it comes to Florida, when it comes to the people, when it comes to laying down proper laws for things. This guy is doing an amazing job. And every time I see him do something like this, I'm like, 2028, man, go for it. I hope he goes for it 2028. I know the whole thing spread about him being a Trojan horse and Soros backing, but I don't know. The more I see him operate, he's not, listen, it's very clear when somebody kind of has that Soros backing because they do things that, again, talking about California, they do things that make their state look like Gotham City. They completely abandon law and order. And all I've seen DeSantis do is completely embrace law and order, completely embrace common sense. And I get it. Sometimes we feel like when we see stuff like this, it's too good to be true. But man, 2028, I hope I see this guy 2028. I really do. Because he's doing a great job. Listen to what he has set up for the people of Florida.
Talk a little bit about why we're here. So we're here today because you assume in America, if you purchase a home and own a residence, that's your residence. That if you happen to maybe split time in Orlando and Michigan, that if you go to Michigan over the summer, people aren't going to be able to just move into your house and then claim squatters' rights on your private residence. And yet, in places like New York and California, that's exactly what's happening in this country. Homes are being invaded, and those states and their laws are not siding with the homeowners, they're siding with the squatters. In fact, we have seen squatters move in and claim residence. This forces a massive, long, drawn-out judicial review before they can even be removed from the property. These are people that never had a right to be in the property to begin with. Earlier this month in New York, a woman returned to a property she inherited to find squatters living there. She changed the locks to get them out, and the state of New York arrested her instead of the squatters. Just a few days ago, 2 squatters in New York City allegedly murdered the property owner when she confronted them for being in her apartment illegally. In fact, we even have illegal aliens taking to social media instructing other foreigners how to come into this country and commandeer property. They have gotten involved in this. Well, today in the state of Florida, we say very simply, what passes muster in New York and California is not passing muster here. You are not going to be able to commandeer somebody's private property and expect to get away with it. We are in the state of Florida ending the squatter scam once and for all. And momentarily, I'll be signing HB 621, which will give the homeowner the ability to quickly and legally remove a squatter from a property, and which will increase criminal penalties for squatting. Now, we have not had the same type of issues here as you've seen in California or New York. Nevertheless, our laws were really geared towards this not necessarily being a fad. This idea of squatting, when you had the Old West and people would settle the West, you'd show up, there'd be a place, so people would settle. They'd create a community. Well, to have someone come 7, 8 years later and say they own the property after all this, you understood why that was done in that way. That was never intended to empower somebody to just invade some residential subdivision and illegally occupy somebody's private residence. So what we're doing today is recognizing that
but I think more importantly, providing very swift remedies, because what the squatters know is even when they're in the wrong, it's a massive process many times before they can be evicted, and a lot of times the process is very expensive. And so we don't want the law to have the thumb on the scale in favor of people that are violating the law. We want the law to have the thumb on the scale in favor of law-abiding property owners, and that's what you're going to see here with this piece of legislation. What you can do now, if you're the victim of squatting, you can simply fill out a form, give it to your local sheriff, and the sheriff is instructed to go and remove the people who are inhabiting your dwelling illegally. And that will happen very quickly. And I can guarantee you, it's just like you saw, I think it was a couple months ago, there was a discussion about some of these theft rings that happen, a lot of them with illegal aliens, and how people will steal in New York. Sometimes they'll try to come to Florida to spend the money, but they don't steal in Florida. And the question was, well, why don't you steal in Florida? And they said, because you go to jail in Florida when you do that.
Man, solid law. How come that can't be everywhere? Why can't that be nationwide? I really don't understand. If they're squatting, you fill out a form, the sheriff says, "Hey, you got to leave." That's it. This law even takes care of the aspect of things having to get violent, because you show me this situation. If I'm in this situation, I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going to go in, and that's my house. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take the person out." But I don't know what's going to happen. That's like a cop going into someone's house when it's a domestic call. You know, it puts them on edge because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know who's in there. They don't know what weapons they have. Same thing goes for you if you're trying to go inside what is your house and there's squatters in there. You don't know how many are in there. You don't know what they're ready to do. You don't know if they got guns, if they have knives, nothing. So the fact that this law that he's passing right now just makes it so you can just go to a sheriff walks in, he's strapped up, who's not supposed to be here, get them all out, end of story, is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Why can't this happen everywhere? We got guys who are making restraining orders on landlords, other guys who are just failed actors, who are just hiding inside of mansions, deciding when they're going to, look at them looking off into the distance. I don't know when I'll leave. Maybe I'll leave. I don't know. Maybe 6 more months I stay here. You know, I like this area in the summer months. You know, maybe the fall I'll go to another place. What? Honestly, and again, I hope this guy runs again. You know, unless Ivanka runs, because then you know I'm going family Trump. If Ivanka runs, I'm going family Trump. Keep it in the family. Man. And listen, a lot of people, listen, The Simpsons said Ivanka 2028. I'm just saying, that's what they said. They haven't been wrong yet. But honestly, that's what should be going on nationwide. That type of law, that type of common sense. The fact that these squatters can get away with just not paying rent, violence to landlords, you know, it's just absolutely wild. But I just wanted to show you guys show you how wild it's getting in California. Washington state judges granting restraining orders. It just, none of it makes sense. And then DeSantis comes in to save the day. Again, I said it at the beginning, I'll say it at the end. Florida's the place. And you know what? Not even just to live. If you want to actually invest in a place for rental properties, it kind of makes sense. The weather's amazing. And then on top of that, you can actually leave the house vacant. If somebody tries to take the house, tries to seize the house, you know, and lie about it, you can just fill out a form, have them taken out. If you're someone who wants to be a landlord, this is actually the best bet, because you don't want to be in a place where it's like, oh, well, now these guys own your house and you can't go back there or else we'll arrest you. New York, after finding Trump, giving Trump that big fine and doing what they're doing, bro, landlords are going to be leaving, developers are going to be leaving, entrepreneurs are going to be leaving. It's going to be a ghost town. It's going to be a ghost town, honestly. Same with California eventually. Watch. If it wasn't for Hollywood, people are already leaving California to go to Texas. Watch what happens to California as well. That place is going to become a ghost town too. Anyways, guys, subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We'd really appreciate it. And other than that, I'm out.